So now that we know how to sort our information using the drop-down arrows and the two buttons up here in the ribbon, let's talk about how to use the sort button, which gives us a little more flexibility in how we want to apply our sorts. So I'm going to click this sort button up here. I'm in the data tab of the ribbon, and that opens up the sort dialog box. And remember how I said in the last video that if we have our columns labeled with this header row, Excel will recognize our column labels, and where it does that is right here. So I have the option of choosing my columns by name, which is a lot more convenient because otherwise it'll say column B or column F and so on, and if you have a lot of columns that can be pretty confusing. So what this allows me to do is to create multiple levels of sorting. So I'm going to have multiple levels showing here. First, let's say I want to sort by, we'll say due date. So maybe due date is the most important thing. Let's go ahead and put due date up here, and then we'll say by values, because we could do it by a few other types of things, but those are a little more advanced. And I want to see the newest ones first. Now, I can just do one level, and if I click OK, you can see that it does organize my information by date. And just like we talked about before, since I have all my columns touching, it's taking this entire record. So all the other information that goes along with this cell got carried with it. So if December 30th was down here, now all of the information in that row from down here was pulled up with this cell. So it organizes the whole thing because I have all these columns touching. Now let's say maybe I want to further sort this a bit, and let's say I also want to sort it by, we'll do cost. And so I can come up here and I can add a level and say sort by estimated cost. And we can do that on value, and maybe we want the largest ones on top. So that gives us another option here, and it recognizes the type of information we have. Since this one was a date, it gave us newest to oldest. Since this is a number, it gave me largest to smallest, or smallest to largest. So if I click OK, what we can see is that Excel is now organizing information first by the due date and then by the estimated cost. So where we can see this happening is right here. Since we have 3, how is it going to organize the other rows? Well, by cost. So we can see that these costs are now in the correct order. If we have any other duplicates, they should be in the same order. Sure enough, there's largest and smallest. So it's doing by date first and then by estimated cost. And that's simply because we have date as the top value here and then cost beneath that. And we can do many more levels. We don't just have to do 2 here. But what it allows me to do is to come in here and then I can reorganize these if I want. Maybe I want it to be estimated cost first. Well, I just click this arrow right here, the move up arrow, and that moved it on top. If I click OK, it reorganizes. Now you can see it's no longer doing it by date, but instead it has my cost. My costs are all listed here from largest to smallest. If I had any duplicate costs, which it's not looking like I do, but if I did, then it would do it by date. So you can see I've just reversed the order a bit. The other thing is maybe it changes. I want to keep this same data table, but maybe instead of cost making a difference to me now priority is what's important. Well, I can come in here and click my sort button and just add a level. And it's really quick and easy. I just come here and say priority, and I want it to be from, we'll say A to Z, and I say OK. Now what that did is it does it by priority, but it's still doing it first by estimated cost. That's why I didn't really see anything move. So we need to come back here. You can see it's in the middle. So that's the important thing to remember, is that we just have to make sure to put it in the correct order. Put it where you want it. So I'm going to just click here on this up arrow and move it. I'm going to click on where I have estimated cost and move that down. So I want it to sort first by priority, then by due date, then by estimated cost. And I'll click OK. And sure enough, I've got all my priorities grouped together here. And oops, the priorities are over here. I've got high, then low, then normal, and then it does it by date. So let's see, high, then by date, so we've got that, and finally by estimated cost. Sure enough, 18 is on top of 4,000.